everyone. I've been getting a ton of requests from you guys on Twitter and Instagram and just all of my social media to do a video on how I edit and also how I make my thumbnails. So I thought I would start off with the thumbnail video just because I need you guys' input on what you guys want to see in the editing video. So just any kind of general questions that you have, make sure to leave those down below so that I can answer them in that video and kind of work you through how I edit my videos and pretty much everything relating to that. But I just needed to get some of you guys' questions first. So I hope you don't mind. Today's going to be the thumbnail video, and later on I will let you guys know when I'm uploading the editing video. Just a quick side note, I use Picmonkey for my thumbnails and I also have the premium membership, but I'm pretty sure right now you can get it for free for a month to try out to see if you like it. It's only $4.99 a month, so it's not too bad. Don't worry though, because you can still make really great thumbnails even if you don't have the premium version. But I'm just gonna get started now. Don't forget to leave your comments below. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful and subscribe for more. Bye guys. I'm gonna start out by showing you guys how to make the basic collage thumbnail in Picmonkey. Once you get some of these techniques down, you can move on to the more advanced thumbnails that I've kind of transitioned to. But first, we're gonna start on the collage button. You wanna go ahead and select any photos you'd like to use in your collage. This is the thumbnail that we're going to be going for here. It's very basic and simple, but you can still read all of the words and kind of everything is very bold and bright. So not only am I showing you how to make a thumbnail, I want to show you how to make a good thumbnail so that people actually want to click on your video. Obviously, a couple things to make a really good thumbnail is have a great picture. You can even find some online if you want to, if you didn't take any good ones. Another important thing when it comes to thumbnails is making sure your writing is visible and it's going to be readable when it is a teeny tiny thumbnail. So we're going to get started making this thumbnail. The first thing you want to do is change the dimensions, and the dimensions are going to be 1280 by 720. Once my dimensions are set, I usually go over here to the background icon and I change the spacing. This just controls how much of a border your photos have, and you can add a little color to it. Once I have my spacing set, I go over here to create my own layout, and it really doesn't matter which one you choose for this. I typically use Jigsaw, but trust me, you can really get any combination just by switching things around and adding pictures. So add pictures just depending on how you like, but for this one, how I got this particular thumbnail, I two identical photos and placed them right next to each other, and then I clicked edit on one of them, it doesn't matter which one, and I flipped it so that it could look like a more mirrored effect, and then I kind of adjusted that, and once they were adjusted, I knew I was all good. So really, this is all personal preference. Take your time kind of changing things around and getting your photos how you want them. This little edit function that I was at earlier really makes a difference, and you can change a couple things on here. You can change the size of a photo. You can also change the exposure just for some quick editing. And this effects button is only available to the Prime members, but this allows you to go ahead and go into the normal Picmonkey and edit your photos to your heart's content. You want to keep in mind later where your text is going to go. So I always kind of think maybe I could put DIY, Tumblr, bralettes. I'm just going to save this because you can't add text in the collage function. Go ahead and open up that photo we saved into Picmonkey, and this is where the fun part comes in. So usually what I start out by doing is adding the text. So I plan out what I want my thumbnail to say. You can make your text bigger by using the size button, or you can drag out the corners to make it bigger. And a lot of you guys always ask what font I use. Here on the side you can see some of my fonts. This is DIN condensed. I use Sweet Pea a lot, Daydreamer, Raccoon, and I get all of my fonts from defont.com. Whenever I do Tumblr videos, I like to add the Tumblr logo. So I have that logo saved to my computer, and I'm going to add it into this photo with an overlay. That is the little butterfly here. Of course, you can resize it. You can even change the color of it here. So if you guys were wondering how to do that, it's very, very simple. Now that I have all of my text, I'm ready to make it stand out because this just does not stand out enough for me. So I'm going to be doing another overlay. What I typically like to do is use a gradient. So I find the gradients on Google just by typing in Tumblr gradient. I'm going to go ahead and rotate it. And what you want to do is right click on it and click send to back. The words are on top and the overlay is on the bottom. I'm going to do the same thing for the bralette part, but using a different overlay color. A lot of times the little gradients that you save on Tumblr aren't long enough to go through the whole letter, and you can't really pull them this way. And duplicate your overlay. And you guys can see how it kind of just like doesn't look good because there's yellow and that. So you can always flip your overlays so that everything blends out nicely. Nowadays, I have been using a black background around my text, and this is what I do. I normally just leave my text black and I add a new text of the same size in white over top of the black. So this thumbnail now looks pretty close to our sample, but as you can see, there are a couple of little succulents here in the corner. Anytime you see an overlay, all I did was search PNG on Google, so I typed in succulent PNG. I kind of placed these just to kind of fill empty spaces and to make my thumbnail more colorful and more interesting. Now that you guys have kind of learned the basics with this first thumbnail, I'm going to walk you through some more advanced techniques and show you how I kind of make the thumbnails that I normally put out with my videos recently. Here's the more advanced thumbnail that I'm going to show you guys how to make. It's really easy if you just follow the techniques that I showed you in the first thumbnail part. So what you want to do is start out with a white background, and the size of this background is 1280 by 720, just like the size of the little collage that we made earlier. So what I start out by doing is taking an overlay. This is basically, these thumbnails are basically just a bunch of overlays on top of each other kind of stacked. I have been using a bunch of different backgrounds. I just find these by going on Tumblr and searching like gradient backgrounds. You can find a lot of really great ones that way. I even use the ones that I use to sit behind text as my background. So really you can do anything you'd like. So I'm just taking the overlay and kind of stretching it out, positioning it where I'd like it to go. You can use the duplicate overlay function to help out a lot with this, so you don't have to keep opening new overlays. Once you have your background set, go ahead and click this little combine all elements image so that everything here cannot be moved again. This is going to be the biggest thing you want to do because it gets really frustrating when you're layering a bunch of stuff and everything is sliding around. Once you've combined everything, you can go ahead and add pictures or in words on top. I'm just taking some photos that I want to use, kind of deciding where I want everything to go before I set anything in stone. For this particular thumbnail, I took each of these pictures and added a white border around each of them. I got that by going here to the geometric shapes and I added in a square. There are two options here for colors. Make sure the first one is set to white or whatever color you want your border to be, and then the second one is set to transparent. That'll take out that middle section. As you can see, there's a ton of stuff outside of the edges of this square. I'm going to make sure I have my photo selected, go to the eraser tool, change the size and the hardness, and start erasing the outside. If you mess up and go over the edge and accidentally erase your photo, you can click on the paintbrush and that will allow you to paint back the photo that you've just erased. I have my text laid out and now I'm going to add a little rectangle behind it, just using the same method that I did in the first one. And sometimes things will end up behind things, and all you need to do for that is just click on the photo, right click, and send it to back. I also wanted to mention you can add one of these geometric rectangles behind your text if you want to just put it a solid color. These rectangles, you have some options to fade them out so you can make them a little bit transparent if you want. I always think that looks really cool. You can even do the same thing with the gradient or any other overlay that you add onto a photo. One last thing I want to show you guys is how to make your own PNG. So I just opened a Picmonkey document and I'm going to go to canvas color and I'm changing that to transparent. So just go ahead and open something in an overlay, whatever you want to make into a PNG. I'm going to click on it and then select the eraser tool, change the size, change the hardness, and then you can start erasing around the edges. And this will give you a nice transparent edged image. Easier if you zoom in here in the right hand corner. That's pretty much it. So yeah, that was the last thing that I wanted to show you guys really quickly. I hope this helps you guys and I really can't wait to see you guys' awesome thumbnails. Let me know if you like this by giving it a thumbs up and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.